And now I'm starting a new one. All right, there we go. So I just want to make sure that we weren't talking without this going on. Yeah. I did think basically this article was like an old school version of like that new article, which was, in my opinion, not as well written as the new version. I think the new version, it's from Harvard Business Review. It's meant to be very concise and get exactly what you need. Whereas I felt this one dragged because I'm looking at like something that was underlined on page 30, which was that people tend not to give full attention to the other side of the case, the side of the opposite of their own, and reasoning about a claim. And that's basically what, was the first thing stated in the other paper from Tuesday. But this is like 7 or 8 pages in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that at the end they were almost saying the exact same thing, but the Harvard Business Review paper was better written and it got to it quicker and it was easier to understand, especially with the ideas in practice, like talking about Bob Young, talking about those 4 steps. Like, I don't know, I just felt better reading that one.
Yeah, like the Thursday one was just too technical and it wasn't as interesting to me, at least.
It seemed like what's it called, a scholarly article, but like just kept on going and going.
Yeah, well, I mean, like there was a full 2 pages of references on there.
Yeah.
So,
I saw that. 3, like those 3 rows or 3 columns in 2 pages. Like that was hella.
I feel like I was reading a newspaper article.
Honestly.
I think it looks like it was taken from a magazine. Honestly, I don't think it's from a book. It looks like it's a magazine type of thing. It's.
Well, we could talk about the video. I really like that TED Talk video. It was really cool. That was much better than the reading itself because at least it was interesting and it was like the article from the Harvard Review. It was concise. Like like it talked about like his skills and how he applied it, and like I feel like that was way more effective than like the reading.
Yeah,
I agree. I would rather watch a TED Talk than read an article because they're more concise and just better.
It was cool how he pieced, like he saw like the data and he saw the charts and how he saw the clustering of like gun violence and how it was similar to like breakouts of cholera, and like that was just sick, and like that was like it made so much more sense. Like I understood the high road, the low road transfer, and like the problems like transferring information and all that, like new skills. But like, yeah, no, the TED Talk definitely was dope. You can understand it.
Yeah, no, definitely it was I think more valuable than that article for sure. Definitely definitely a very smart individual. I don't know, I think it's nice I like reading, but I think it's nice to break up the reading with actually somebody talking about it, It just feels more personal to me, versus when I'm reading this article, I don't know who this Harvard Business Review guy is. I didn't Google him or anything. So like, I mean, it could have been, a 6-year-old who wrote that article. I mean, it probably wasn't, but I don't know. This is Mark Turner. What Turner was his name or something? The videos that he had, like, the guy's really well educated. He's expressing himself really well. He has a lot of experience. And so for me, like, it sits better because I know that, or at least I think this guy's more trustworthy. Not saying that the Harvard Business Review guy is not trustworthy. I love that article. But when it's coming from somebody like that, like, it just feels like, oh, he definitely knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in the article when they talked about like transferring like skills that you already possess onto like a new subject or material, like when they were talking about like programming and stuff like that, I feel like they're really under evaluating like people's like skills, like especially college students. For us, like we're always picking up new classes, like I'll take statistics next semester, and like it's gonna be completely new ball game to like what I've already knew. But like as like students, like we're so good at transferring what we like I guess like skill wise, that we understand like the work ethic that like requires to pick up something new. And I feel like the articles are really like under like minding like hard work that it takes to like possess. I know it talked about you got to be wasn't decisive. Let me see the word. But you have to put an effort into like learning a new thing. But I feel like a lot of things are like really transferable in this like world. like for example, in the TED video, you know, he saw those charts and like, he pieced it together. I don't know. Can we think of some ideas that like are like easily transferable? That's not like a truck and a fucking car.
Well, I think like at my work, one of the things that surprised me was so I used to be a computer science major. I've taken a bunch of CS classes.
Mhm.
It's how irrelevant almost every concept in my CS class was for this job, and how much more relevant marketing and business classes were. Because I basically write like programs that interface with Facebook ads so that they make the Facebook ads like more targeted, or that they're dynamically like adding more money when like the ads are cheaper, when they're being more effective.
Yeah.
And it was super basic programming, but all this stuff was really like business concepts. Like, hey, like how do I recognize that this ad's doing well? How do I like recognize who's a good customer and whatnot? And
Yeah.
so like I guess there's just a thing in programming is that programming isn't really the actual programming skill isn't as important as combining psychology or business classes into the mix. This is what was surprising.
What I hear from a lot of recent college graduates who are like in new careers now, like for example, my brother's friend, recently got a job at Edward Jones. He's like a financial advisor, and he was an econ major at school, and he says nothing that he learned like really applies to what he does. Like,
That's a common theme.
same with my dad. Like when he told me he graduated and he went to law school, he said like he didn't use anything in school. It was like a completely new pickup. So like, not saying that. I'll stop here because he's probably gonna watch this video.
Yeah. No. I agree. I think that's what's nice about this major is you can kind of take things that are more interesting that might be more relevant versus at least like my previous major. Like not a single class I took was relevant. Like I took Calc 3 and I've never used calculus in my job.
Yeah.
Same.
True.
Like I think maybe mechanical engineers use calculus if they're working at Tesla or SpaceX, but like on a regular basis with my program, I don't use any math concepts, honestly.
I feel like they do it just because like academia and like basic like they
Yeah.
like, a tradition so to say like
Yeah,
you just gotta do it, you know, like it isn't a fun.
it's like to see if you can survive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
It's like they're bestowing like
it's like
trials.
it's like a,
You
it's
have
like
to
a,
fucking survive, and if you
Yeah.
survive, then you're cool.
it's a hell week, but like just for like
For 4 years or longer.
It's like I do think it's definitely tied to tradition. I have a friend who didn't go to college after high school, and now he works in a tech company. He's making $100,000 a year. He's like, he failed out of math like in high school. He's like, I never used math or anything. Like he's a programmer. It's like, I think a lot of it's rooted in tradition. That traditionally, like to be smarter than other people, you had to take all these classes. You know, you had to know. But nowadays we have calculators and stuff that's better. So yeah, it's interesting.
Wait, did you guys just lag? I just like lagged hard.
For a second. I think we're all better now.
Okay, cool. So yeah, what were you saying?
I was just talking about how my friend like failed out of math in high school and didn't go to college, but he makes like $100,000 a year working as a programmer. And he's never used any of the math he's ever learned. But like it's kind of like a required track in the CS world, you know, if you want to major in that.
Yeah.
Like just how a lot of the classes like you take because it's tradition. Like maybe when you were first working on computers and you didn't have these fancy calculators and stuff to do everything for you, you had to know how to do calculus, right? But nowadays, like you pull out your TI-84 if you really need it.
like never will I ever use like calculus to where I need to find the area of a fucking parabola.
Okay, what really like pissed me off about math is why did they teach you how to do it the hard way?
Yeah, dude.
Like the hardest fucking they like, and then they teach you easy. But like, why didn't you just teach me the easy way the first time?
Yeah, they teach you
But-
both ways. They teach you 2 ways to solve them usually, and they're like, "Oh, this is the easy way and the hard way." And the teacher's like, I had like a really like snobby teacher, and he was just like, "Well, it's just as easy for me." So he went on to teach us the hard way, teach us the easy way, as if we're like some geniuses. I'm like, get out of here, dude.
I think it just because
Some
like math teachers are very like passionate about math, so they feel like you're passionate about math too.
no, yeah, like
Like they they like put that on you, and I'm like, you know, I don't really like math that much, but he's passionate, so he's like, bro, what do you like? Why aren't you performing what you should be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't leave class and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read my notes and study. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I ain't trying to dedicate like 2-3 hours to reading my math notes.
Yeah, I know. Even though it'd probably be the right thing to do.
Yeah. You have a point.
I don't know if you're like me, dude. Like, I have barely any time. I literally got home 20 minutes before this meeting started. So, like my weeks are crazy. Like, I wish I had that time to go over my notes, but
Yeah, touche.
yeah. But
Usually it's just like my real estate teacher, for example, he understands. He's a cool dude, and like he's like, I know you guys, like you guys are, we all like, I crammed in college, like you guys cram, like it's like, I wish teachers were more open about like being like helpful and stuff, you know?
yeah. No, if you guys ever get the chance, you should take this class called GRA 440. It's called Finding Your Purpose with Dr. Haywood. But like, he's the example of integrative thinking, because he's this guy who went to college like in the 70s, right? To become to go to law school, right? He's doing his undergrad. And he spent a semester. He's like, I fucking hate this, right? So he dropped out of school and moved over to Colorado and just skied for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Then he went back and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get a photography degree. So he gets a photography degree and he travels the world for a bit. And he's like, you know, like, I'm gonna go back to school and become a psychologist. And now he's like a high up guy in the Herberger Art School, and he just like does all his cool projects and whatnot. But he's combined. I mean, this is a guy who was originally going to go to law school. Then he has a photography degree, and now he has a PhD in psychology. And he combines all these ways of thinking. And he really encourages the whole class to like combine your passions and apply different ways of thinking. But he's a really great example here at ASU. Somebody who's like you're talking about your real estate teacher. That's like why I thought of him. He's a guy who really understands like that life isn't just about doing like terrible things, you know, and
Great
things
line.
doesn't matter.
Like so often, like they try to make it here seem at school like it's a straight,
Mm-hmm.
it's a squiggly fucking line.
Yeah, and that's what this guy, he really harps on. He's a fantastic. I mean, if you ever need, it's also really easy, eh? So
True.
I highly recommend.
Wait, what was it called?
How many credits?
A 440 with Dr. Haywood.
You said CLA?
GRA.
How many credits is it?
Huh?
How
It's
many
3 credits.
credits?
It's 3
Three.
credits.
Okay.
But that class fills up fast.
Really?
Wait, DRA?
GRA 440. Dr. Haywood. You can just search HEYWOOD. He's like the only teacher with that name. And you'll see his list of classes. But finding your purpose, like you literally like make I think I have mine somewhere over here. You have to make like a passion poster about what you care about. But like you just basically combine different concepts and telling you like life stories that he's not like your traditional professor. He's a guy who like did all sorts of different stuff in his life. And he's found ways to apply like his photography degree to psychology or whatnot.
No, yeah, dude. Honestly,
That's cool.
pictures are worth a million words, you know.
Exactly, man.
That
Exactly.
does sound cool.
Yeah. Anyways, he's a great example of an integrative thinker, in my opinion. ASU has a couple people like that who are just like fantastic at it, and of course, we have some people who are also they don't do that integrative thinking, which is very interesting because that's kind of the way the university is really pushing things. But yeah, we got about 15 more minutes here to continue talking about stuff. And basically, the last 2 questions are like, what do we think we did as a group well, and what do we think we did poorly as a group, and then just stuff about like logistics. So I guess we could just might as well talk about what we did well and bad, because then we can also plan out our next meeting and make it better. Because I think we all don't want to be here on a Friday night. Next time we won't do this a Friday night. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think we did well today on?
We gave great examples.
Yeah, we did great examples and elaborated on a lot of them.
True.
And I took notes on a lot of these things too, so we like have something to reference when we write our stuff. So we can kind of like, we're all still talking about relevant things and whatnot. Um,
Mhm.
Wait, you have notes of everything we talked about?
the first like 30 minutes, I took like a list of just like what we consider as examples and like what we said about Bob Young, opposable mind playing devil's advocate. So that way we like, because I don't know about you guys, I struggled that last Sunday because I was like trying to remember what we had said. So
Oh, I see what you're saying.
took some. I'll send this all to you guys.
Last
Alright.
Sunday night was tough because like I had that meeting and like I had to leave early.
Yeah, and don't worry about it.
Did,
That's
did he did he email you saying that like we fell short of our time limit?
yeah, yeah. He said that we have to really hit that 1 hour time limit.
I haven't checked my grade, but did he dock us for ending early?
I didn't check my grade either.
I
I
don't
think the
know.
first time
I didn't.
we get a pass on it,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
That's on it. Have you guys done the? It's because my phone's broken right now. I'm about to get a new one this weekend. But have you guys started the app, the Mind? Thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elevate.
If I did it tomorrow, how long would it take me to do like a week's worth of like stuff?
you can only do one a day, I think.
And you need 21. So how many days we have left of class?
We have more than 21 days left of class, but you're gonna have to be doing it like 5 days a week or whatever to really hit that.
Oh, so I could just. So he suggests that we do it 4 to 5 times a week, but we just have to make sure we complete 21 of those, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
and we have 5 weeks of school left, so that's like 35-ish days.
Like plenty of time then.
Plenty of time, but yeah,
I just didn't want to get docked if he was gonna be like checking it every week.
yeah, no, you don't have to. You could do the last 21 days technically. It's just the app is really annoying because it's like 20 minutes to do the quiz or whatnot. 23 minutes. Like I thought it'd be like a 3-minute checkup thing, but no, it's like
Yeah. It takes
and
long.
there's lives. So like if you can't like just tap your way through because I tried tapping my way through everything, and then you keep losing your lives. So you have to actually pass it. I'm like, come on, like really?
It's like a training program.
It's like
It
a
really is.
but to me it just seems like he's promoting his smartphone app. I don't know if that's his app, but
I'm in this class where like it's an English class. I'm supposed to be learning about English, and they're promoting some like my teacher's trying to make us do some project where it's like change makers, where like we do like a community project and like we set everything up, and like this is not the first class I feel like I'm being pushed to do something that's like a party, you know?
yeah, a little extra. Definitely.
Definitely extra. It's like taking up a lot of time.
Dude, this class I thought was gonna be a very simple, easy A, and it's way more work than
I
my
have
other.
to work for it. That's
Yeah.
My friends are taking the same class in person right now, and like they're doing like 5-page assignments.
Oh god.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and like they
Five
already
page.
did one. They have like one due next week, and like it's like so like this class like give or take it's gonna do some work, require some work. Yeah.
Dang man, that's yeah.
To emphasize what we did better this week, better work, more vocal. We got the group chat going. We got everybody on, and we all stayed for the hour. Definitely good insight. Everybody talked about like personal or like just like references we did. Those like top 3 we did better. Something we could do better next week is probably like planning ahead better. I guess I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think one of the things we struggle with this week, which we did better than last week, is still like stretching this out for an hour, like the actual topics. I think part of the problem is that the topics are kind of softball questions. You know, they're nothing like super difficult. So it's like, how do I stretch out into, you know, especially if it's a 200-word post we're supposed to make. It's supposed to go an hour. So it's like, I think we can come up with some sort of system maybe of better breaking down so that we actually like, you know, it's like right now we're kind of like trying to get these last 10 minutes, and obviously it's relevant what we're talking about, but
there's 6 of us, correct?
Yeah, what?
There's 6 of us, right?
Yeah.
So each one of us should come up with a 10-minute like discussion. So like each one of us will be in charge of like dictating the conversation for 10 minutes of this conversation. So it's like an hour. So one of us would talk about one point, and then I think that would make it much easier because that person would be in charge and would push the conversation through, you know? So
Yeah.
we're not just like talking about like non.
Yeah, no, I agree. If we could even do like 7 or 8 minutes, and like we could have a discussion with the person's thoughts, because like if we all wrote the blog post and we all talked about what we wrote, and then we like had bounce back ideas with each one of our time, we'd more than easily hit our time mark, you know. So that would definitely be like I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, we should like definitely elaborate on what we want to do, but us like someone being responsible for like a time slot would be useful because then like it would just be like that.
Yeah. I do think right now would be a good time to plan out when we're gonna meet next.
Okay.
Um, And obviously, we're supposed to turn in Tuesdays and Thursdays assignment beforehand. He kind of got on us for that last time, which I mean, he didn't explain it, so I don't know what that was about. But
Wait, we're supposed to submit it on the day of, right?
yeah, we're supposed to have already submitted it when we have this discussion. So I say like Thursday might be a good time.
Well, next week we're not actually meeting.
Yeah, he
Oh,
says
we're
we're
not.
not meeting next
Yeah,
week.
we're not. We're supposed to make a video, like a
And
4-minute video each or something.
I think we're
Perfect.
replying
Really?
to each other's video though.
Where was that under?
Next week.
Module 3, probably.
Oh, module
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, you're right. We have to watch each one of our group mates' videos. All right, that's perfect then.
Alright, so we'll just work on what we like. I guess like the orientation of our like next meetings, and like we'll just work on our own stuff next week.
Yeah, perfect.
And like if you have any questions, we'll just hit up the group chat.
No, that's perfect. And Brooke, I'm gonna toss you into that group chat. So you'll get that all that info with us. Yeah, sweet. All right, so we got like 8 minutes left. But yeah,
Should I stay or should I go?
oh man. I think there was something else maybe we can talk about.
You like jazz?
I don't know much jazz off my top of my head.
This man said, "Do you know jazz?" Yo, you said you had a friend that's in the physical version of this class, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we're advanced, right? So we're actually ahead of them, like ahead of what they're doing.
They're session C, so we're session B. So I think they're at the midway point, and we're like week 2 out of 4, or how many? There's 16 weeks in a semester, right?
Yeah, and this is week 10 full thing. So we started last week, so we got 5 weeks left. So it's gonna be a total of 7 weeks this class. So we have 5 more weeks.
So we got like. I'm brain freezing right now. I'm tired.
Like I'm thinking about those 5-page assignments, and I'm like, are we gonna get 5-page assignments?
Oh, that's
I look
I'm
ahead.
not 100%
I
sure.
don't see anything. Most of the stuff is like, honestly, the stuff that's gonna suck is the video. So we have to record because we have to hit a time limit with those.
Yeah.
And during my intro, I struggled to hit that time limit.
Oh yeah, I did too. The
I
3
also
minutes.
did mine like 30 minutes before it was due.
Well, this is. Let me help you guys out real quick. So in class, we learned that 30 seconds of talking is 90 words written. So 90 words, you can do 30 seconds of talking. So that does mean that like for 3 minutes, we had to talk for a long time. That's like a long dialogue, talking to yourself. So it was very like cumbersome as an assignment. And
But that also plays into our favor because when if we talk about it the next time we meet, if we just read our discussion post, that's like 800 words divided by 90. You said because like right under 9 minutes of talking for each.
no, 90 words for 30 seconds of talking.
Oh, 90 words
So-
for 30 seconds.
Yeah, so 180.
Oh, so that's like 5 minutes. Okay. Well, that's not too tough. I'll just read slowly, but
Stretch it out. Take your time.
yeah. Any other things you guys think we could maybe do better?
Pizza.
Dude, I'm down for some pizza right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, this was pretty cool. Like, this wasn't very bad of a video meeting. I think they're getting more like entertaining.
Yeah, there's definitely the first one was pretty awkward.
The first one was rough.
The first one was
Yeah. So I think if we just maintain like this conversational aspect of our video meetings, we should be able to like cover our time limit.
Exactly. What are you guys up to tonight? Any big plans?
I think I'm going to Top Golf after this.
Oh, that's a power move. I live right above Taco Bell. I'm at 92 Place.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a prime spot, to be honest, man.
Dude, Taco Bell's a shit show, bro. I hate
It
It's
is.
literally like there's always something going on there, and it's not good. Like
It always is.
last time, like I was like before spring break, I was about to hop on my flight, but beforehand it was like 5 a.m. when to get Taco Bell, and there was this drunk chick just chilling at Taco Bell, like waiting for orders, and like I was like, before I left, the guy who went there, like, you've been here for like 2 hours, like.
You can
I'm
see
like,
Taco
oh,
Bell from my place. All right, I get to see the debauchery happen here at night.
No.
Oh, that's
Yeah, yo,
crazy.
Taco Bell is so ratchet, but it's so ratchet.
It is.
It is, and it's right there. You see that? Like, the best is on weekends, like, you're just sitting up here, like, just chilling, and you'll see the cop cars pull up there. Like,
wait, where do you face? I'm like on Apache right
wait, I face Barrett. So,
Oh,
like, I'm on the 10th floor right above the pool.
now. I'm facing north on like the district.
Wait, you're facing where?
North,
Oh, okay. Wait, where do you live at?
right in front of the Rise. Like,
Oh, you're at the district.
yeah, like right in front of the Rise, right in front of like the parking entrance at 922.
Yeah. Dude, that's a nice spot. That's a nice spot. This is
Dude,
cool.
definitely.
Yeah, I can definitely see you, Sebastian. Like from my room at the hub, it faces the Rise.
Oh, baby, you can see me. Dude, you see me waving my laptop out here?
It's pretty far. Like it's hella far over there, but I can see like the Rise sign.
Yeah, I think like a laser pointer or some shit.
Dang, that's crazy.
Y'all live so close to campus.
Yeah, where you at?
I'm in South Scottsdale / Tempe. Like
Oh.
right north of Tempe-Town Lake.
Dang. Do you drive to campus or do you like?
Well, like it's like less than 5 minutes. It's like Camden. You
Yeah,
know
what the fuck? That's like down the street. What do you mean?
Yeah.
How
well,
are you?
Not a lot of people know about it, but yeah, that's where I live.
True.
So, yeah, it's really good, especially when I'm ill. It's really convenient.
Dang. Anyways, it's a nice spot. It's nice to be close to campus. We have 2 more minutes here.
Do you guys watch basketball?
Yo, did you go to the Rise party?
Wow. Natty Day or what?
Yeah.
Dude, someone stole my fucking natties. What the fuck?
What?
What?
Yeah, I left cause my friends were chilling by the table and I was in the hot tub. And like next thing I know, I went to go grab some more beers and like it was completely done. Like I had like at least half a rack left and I was just like, I just left. I was like,
Yo, that was a weird day. Like just weird shit happened. All day.
everybody got kicked out. Then I was like, next thing I was at the district pool.
Yeah.
Like,
I was too, but it lasted like 10 seconds.
yeah, no. Then everybody got kicked out, and then that's how it ended. But the rice pool is lit, dude. It's just a shit show.
You see what happened to their
trying to take a mess because like the guys' restroom is closed. And I remember last time I was like, I just like ran to the women's restroom, took a piss in the stall, and like just walked out like nobody's.
That sounds pretty ratchet.
That dude's bathroom, somebody punched the whole walls down. Like they were just ripped apart.
Oh no, they're fucking up already.
Yeah, they fucked it up for everybody, bro. Like who the fuck does that shit?
Yeah.
What? I knew, bro. What about the ski machine? Is the ski machine still operational?
Dude, there's only one person at the Rise who knows how to operate it. I've tried to go so many times to use it. Like my best buds live there, and I go there all the time, and the guy's never there.
What the? Yeah, it does look pretty complicated.
It's pretty freaking complicated looking, but I really want to use it, man.
What about the boxing ring? I'm sure some funny shit happened
There's
tonight.
a boxing ring there?
What the heck?
Yeah, at the Rise in the gym. It's like a little one.
Ooh, what?
That's wild.
Yep.
Oh, I'm down to box one of you guys in there.
Let's go.
I'm down.
Let's do it. Whoever loses has to like set up the next meeting and has to like talk. The winner gets a bye round. They get a bye with not having to speak.
Oh my goodness.
For one of the videos.
Yeah, for one of these videos. Anyways, so we're at 8:30, and I think I started at like literally at 8:30 or 8:30 or 7:31 or something like that. So, it's good hanging with all you guys. Thank you for joining.
True.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I'll forward you guys all the notes I took. Yeah. Peace.
All right. Peace
All
out.
right, everybody, take care. Have a fun weekend.
Later.
Yeah.
Recording. We have Sebastian, Brooke, and Mohammed here on a Friday night doing this meeting. So I don't know if we're supposed to state who's here or not. Like, I just want to get the points. So
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
anyways, so you guys you did those readings, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you think about I'm opening up Tuesdays because I'm trying to remember what it was about again. Oh, how successful leaders think, that Stanford article, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
or Harvard Business, my bad. So what you guys what you think about that?
I actually, it's okay. So when the point of this class was to learn about integrative thinking, correct? So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know what that actually meant, but like after, in the article in the beginning, it gives you, how conventional thinkers think and integrative thinkers think. Like that actually, like that comparing and contrast, like just gave me the idea that I needed to fully understand what it means to be an integrative thinker.
Yeah, no, I totally feel, man.
Yeah. And like the same with me too. Like I had a general idea, but this one definitely expanded my knowledge about what it could mean, and plus like adding in the assignment too, the writing assignment, it definitely
Mhm.
helped a lot.
Yeah, and I like how they used like a real world, example, like of the guy that and like they went over the steps he took and how he was thinking and all that. I think that really like gave the point across.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree, man. Totally agree on that point. Yeah, I really like that that they had the idea in brief and the idea in practice at the beginning, so that like you could kind of get you could read the whole article, but you can also get that gist and get the most important parts out of it. By going back up and be like, okay, so that's what this part of the reading is really hitting on. That's what step 2 really hits on. Like, I really like that kind of summary, but also that full expanded thing, because like you said, in the full thing, you got the example of that guy from Red Hat or something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it really helped us solidify the idea in my head.
Yo.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going, man?
Ready to start?
Yeah. We just started recording actually, and we're just talking about the first article. And the important thing is we have to make this meeting stretch a full hour.
Okay.
I'm thinking right now we're just going through that first article, talking about like I feel like we could probably all read what we wrote too, or something like that too, to like get this time, whatever it is we have to do. But
Wait, so what article are we speaking of? Tuesday's assignment or Tuesday's assignment?
Tuesday's assignment: how successful leaders think.
No, yeah, Tuesday's assignment was. I like the article because it really, like someone said here, like the real world examples. It really helped you piece it together. To be honest.
Yeah.
No, you already put like not too long.
Let me reread what I put for Tuesday.
Yeah, go right for it.
Hydrate.
Hell yeah, my man. Hell yeah.
Dude, this is tough right now. A 7:30 on a Friday. Fuck me.
I'm sorry, guys. Next time we'll plan it out better.
It was all our faults. We should have done it like ahead of time, but we kind of like procrastinated. But
Yeah, we'll
holy
figure out a better time next time.
yeah.
Probably like Thursdays are work better for me in the afternoons.
Is that a Jimi Hendrix poster?
Yeah, dude, got my
I see that.
got my Jimi Hendrix and my Led Zeppelin over there, and my pink. I don't even know if you can see the Pink Floyd, but the lights there. Yeah. Decked out, my man. Decking it out. So who was gonna read what they had written? Somebody was like pulling it up or something.
Yeah, I could pull out what I did for my. I got Thursday's assignment up, but if we're gonna talk about Tuesday first.
Yeah, let's
Thursday's assignment was hard. It was like a hard read. I didn't like it.
Yeah, Thursdays was definitely.
It was like I just wish sometimes the assignments or like the texts were more dated like recently. It's like.
Yeah,
like, some of the terminology is like definitely dated, dude. It just sucks reading it.
I definitely felt the same way with Thursday. Tuesday, I understood better.
Tuesday was great, but Thursday's assignment was a bore, to be honest. Like I understood it, but it was just like kind of a drag.
Yeah, and I think part of it's that what's so nice about Tuesday is it has the idea in brief and the idea in practice that you can look over again, you know, and you can get the main ideas, and then you can read the expanded thing. Whereas this Thursday, kind of like just a thick, dense thing of like read.
Yeah, no, it's because it was relevant too, because like it was like early 2000s, so it was kind of like during that tech boom, so it was kind of cool.
That was definitely interesting. So, yeah, who wants? If anybody wants to read what they have for Tuesday, like go right for it.
Let me look up my Tuesdays.
Okay, I can read mine.
Go for it.
I like my Thursdays one better. I think I honestly did better on Thursdays, but I'll read my Tuesdays too. So from the beginning, successful leaders focus on problems from multiple perspectives in order to find new solutions not previously seen. An opposable mind is to take an idea and come up with two arguments of opposing viewpoints. By playing devil's advocate in your mind, it gives you the ability to have a neutral stance on the topic. Something I kept myself thinking aloud. I was like, let me introduce an argument, a new perspective-changing element that will make you rethink your stance. It's beneficial to have this thought process, looking at a problem objectively and often resulting in a better solution. Brilliant leaders are often integrated thinkers, one who invites complexity and is no obstacle. Rather than seeing one's point in front of him, he looks at the big picture and examines all the moving parts. So to sum up the rest of my paper is basically, successful thinkers think in attacking an object like from like the holistic, like all of its parts at one time, you know what I mean? Or separating it like little segmented problems, like breaking down a problem into little problems to fix it. So there's two different like viewpoints and ways to like approach problems in that regard.
Yeah.
Let's see, focus on, so I basically just focused on big picture and attacking problems, you know what I mean, like that. I like to think of celebrities when I think of complex minds because they have like figured out how to monetize their entertainment value. So basically they're, you know what I mean, they're like making money from just their skill of like themselves, like self-mastery.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty good example.
Yeah, and I'm writing these down so that way I'll send them all to you guys in the group chat.
Yeah.
Brooke, I'll put you in that group chat so when we write Sunday's thing, it makes more sense. It makes we all kind of go together with our thing. So that way, like, I'll do something that. But yeah, I'll write these things out. I like that celebrity example. You're saying celebrities mastered the skill of making money off themselves by kind of combining what they're good at with their popularity and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
right.
We just understand the human capital. Like really important to know.
Wait, what did you say? In regards to human capital?
Yeah, like, well, because like we got to realize everybody has like their own special skill sets and all that, and I feel like people who are like gifted, like the guy from Red Hat, for example, you know, it wasn't too complicated when you like really like what he did. He just pretty much set himself apart. Like sometimes like opportunities present themselves, and I think we tend to look for an open door when like there's like a door already open. But like I don't know if I'm wording this correctly. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
but sometimes opportunities are there, and like people just like don't see them. And this guy like Bob Young, for example, he saw the disadvantages of Microsoft, which is really expensive, and it still is to today. And I know Linux soft like programming is really cheap, and it was really fascinating to see how like he saw that he didn't have to compete with them. More so, he had to like just go like divert like a different route of like tactics for sale, like selling his product.
Mm-hmm.
Service.
Like what he did was, instead of like, in my opinion, I think Linux, the guy that made Linux, knew that he couldn't really compete with Microsoft because they already had a monopoly on the market. Most computers were Windows based.
Yeah.
So in one category that he could beat Microsoft in is price, because the licenses for Windows at that time, it was like XP, Vista, you know what I mean? 360.
Yeah. It's expensive to maintain it and update it because they're always trying to update it.
Yeah. So I think it was smart that he like basically beat them on a front that is like a less obvious front.
Yeah, and like honestly, besides the United States, Linux is like really like in Mexico and South America, Linux is like the most popular type of programming used, like software wise.
I'd imagine because it's free. So if you know how to use it, like you can do pretty much everything you can do on Windows, if not more.
Yeah.
I use it at work because I work as a data scientist at a startup, and so like we run everything on Linux servers. Like it's pretty crazy to think that 20 years ago when Bob Young was doing this, like it wasn't that big of a thing, and now it's everywhere. But it's definitely very powerful, and it's very the different mindset that Bob Young and these people had when they were making the software. It really reflects right now because when you're doing things on Windows versus on Linux, it's very different. But there's a lot of really smart ideas for Linux, even though it's not $1 billion large tech corporation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let me try to tell you guys something.
Mhm.
From the reading, there was like the 4 steps to being integrative thinker, and I think step 2 and 3 are the most important when I read, like for me in the reading.
Mm-hmm.
One is analyzing the problem and being able to step back, and then 3 being able to move, and I feel like that's like pretty common for anything you want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
But like definitely being able to step back in like any situation is super important.
Yeah.
Because like too often you get caught up like in the storm of things and like you get lost, and like just trying to like see it from a third party perspective, reading put it was like pretty cool, pretty important to like integrative thinking and like opposable mindset as well.
So here it's saying, so integrative thinkers seek less obvious but potential relevant factors, right? So what would that mean? So, because it says conventional, focus only on obvious and relevant features. So in this example of Bob Young, what would be less obvious factor in that case?
I don't know. There's like always like underlying trends and stuff like that.
Well, I think a big thing Bob Young kind of did too is he pioneered that kind of a freemium model almost, with that giving the software away for free, but charging corporations, for maintenance and other things like that. Like, let's face it, almost every single smartphone app has like a free model and a pay model. Like the app we have to use in class, you have to technically pay for it. We get it for free, right? But like Bob Young, that wasn't a thing 20 years ago. Like he was one of the big pioneers of that, and I think that's where that less obvious thinking. Because if you told Microsoft, give away Windows for free and just charge big corporations, I bet Bill Gates would have had a heart attack.
Yeah, they'll laugh at you.
And for a while, it didn't seem like a good idea. It's now only now that everybody copies that model that it's like, oh, even Microsoft now has some free products. There's premium products that they're now copying Bob Young. So I think that was his big insight.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's see here.
So we have to talk about besides examples, other ways that you can transfer this kind of way of thinking into other areas, and conceptual blending, which to me, conceptual blending doesn't seem to really make, seems kind of like jargon, you know, it just seems like he's making stuff up, but I guess transferring this type of thinking into other areas.
Well, I think conceptual blending is just break down the word concept blending concepts.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly what transfer and integration are, just like another way to reword them. But
are we talking about the assignment from Thursday's reading?
I'm talking about Sunday. So I'm looking at Sunday, and the first thing it says is that we have to 250 word record of what your group discussed, including listing examples and how you can think of integration, transfer, or conceptual blending of these examples. So, I guess like with Bob Youngsing, it's like that transferring that freemium model to smartphone apps. But I don't know, like, you guys have any other examples of other ways to transfer that thinking or integrate it? That way we have at least 2 examples for that one.
Okay, let's see.
I'm trying to think of a product that was recently made. Like it's a combination of 2 things. Snapchat glasses. You got sunglasses and you be able to take Snapchats without having your phone out. Even though it's like not the most world-breaking thing, but it's a small example of like just like I guess some transferring and like just like what's it called, like a high road transfer or something like that.
No, I agree. Snapchat glasses, they're technically smart glasses, and they were like, Google couldn't even get their smart glasses to take off. But I remember like when those Snapchat glasses first came out, like they were the cool shit. You know, everybody like wanted to kind of get them somehow.
Yeah, and they're mad cheap now. So.
Yeah, they've dropped in price. But when they first came out, like, and they did that kind of that vending machine that moved around, and people were like checking to see like, hey, is it in my area? Is it in my area? Like, they did a really good job of kind of combining like viral marketing and old tech with, you know, stuff like that. So I'll put that down as an example.
Yeah, they hyped it up pretty good.
Another thing you could say is like the Tesla. Like you got the concept of the automobile, you know, you got your heavy dual pack lithium ion batteries, like as like keep like the energy source from the car. You got like the like super sick looking like center console that is like all like it's not your conventional car, but you know it's a car. It's like your standard 4-door sedan. Like there's a bunch of like especially with technology nowadays. There's so many like smart watches. You know, like
yeah. I see what you're saying. I actually like that example because in relation to transfer, basically Teslas are, if you were to transfer an iPhone to a car, it'd probably look like a Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. Like
so
they're so sick on the inside. Especially what is it? What's the sedan? What's the SUV with the butterfly doors?
The X, Model X.
Yeah, Model X.
Yeah. Those are sick.
Yeah, do you see the Swiss government is now using Model X's for their police SUVs?
Fucking bougie as fuck.
Wow.
That's actually pretty freaking cool. Like,
that's awesome, yeah.
And it's I don't know, they're fast. It's a good cop car. It would be capturing bad guys in style, man.
It's like in Dubai with the fucking the 911 cop cars.
Oh yeah.
You gotta keep up to the supercar somehow, right?
Exactly. So here I put down in this like transcription or whatever.
Honestly, like nowadays we're surrounded by so many things that like look like old, like so many things that like before, like that would be like freaking Kindles, for example. You know, we're reading books off of tablets. You know, it's like the same concept as a book, but it's like electronic now. Smartphones, not a smartphone, but the watches. You got like lamps that like change different colors, like things that like we used to have before, but you'll figure like an added twist. You know, you added like some different component, and now it's a completely different like product.
Yeah.
So like we're surrounded by it today. So like there's like plenty of examples.
Yeah. So I wrote down, guys, like for examples, Bob Young and his freemium or whatever, Snapchat glasses, Tesla cars, Kindles, smartwatches. Anything else you want me to add there? Or, I mean, like we can all write whatever we want to, but this is just like we all.
Like, the list goes on nowadays because like there's so many like hybrids and like different like mixtures of things.
Yeah, definitely pretty crazy. So he also asks here, is there any other areas that could benefit from integrating or blending ideas together? Like, you guys see some area that, is still, it could be way better, but obviously it's being held back by not combining tech or anything. You guys have any off your top of your head that we can add to things that could benefit?
Yes, I do actually. And this goes like regarding the ASU Tempe campus. I don't understand why it's so big and wide open, but without like canopies over the walkways. Because during the summer and like during the hot season, it gets freaking hot. And like, how are we number one in innovation, but can't put like little tarps like between the buildings and the walkways? Like, I feel like that's pretty simplistic thinking, but I guess you'd only gain that perspective from a student.
Yeah, and it's funny because like in the summer, there's days that they'll say you'll burn in 10 minutes outside.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Well, we have to walk. Like, if I'm walking from the hub, I have to walk from the hub to WP Carey. That's like a 30-minute walk. Takes forever.
Yeah, you'll burn out there in the sun and everything. That's a real valid concern.
Like concrete it gets so hot, especially asphalt, and like that's what we use to build. Like, and like I feel like Phoenix is like it's unsustainable in its nature that we built something so big in the desert and it's so freaking hot. And like especially ASU where we're walking around, and actually I was talking to some lady who was like, I love the heat, and I'm like, I don't, I gotta walk around everywhere.
You have to be outside.
Like adults like usually just like get in the car, go from home, and like go to the car, and then like they're not outside very long. But for us as students, like it's miserable. Like I'm dreading the next couple months because from here it's only gonna go hot. So like.
Well, and it's funny too. I can't remember the term for it, but there's this concept where basically like you have so much concrete, the concrete absorbs more heat.
Yeah.
It makes things
Oh, I know what you're talking about, and it reflects the heat off too. Like like Tempe's average temperature, I think its average is like 10 degrees over what like less concrete places are.
And I know it's a problem that they have here, which is why like they're having a big movement to plant more trees and like do more shade. But I work in North Scottsdale, and sometimes I'll check the temperature, and it's like a good 5 or 6 degrees warmer in Tempe. Like, that's because of all the concrete and everything, and ASU is a big offender of that. And you think like they would have planned better, for that stuff, like reflective materials, or I don't know how it works, but it's besides just like the sun itself, like you're just cooking yourself. It's like an oven here. No, that's definitely a good example of like something that could improve. You guys think of any more maybe?
What you think, Brooke? I haven't heard from you.
Sorry, I've been dealing with Apple customers for like the past 5 hours. My brain is fried.
You said Apple?
Yeah, I work for Apple for troubleshooting.
Oh, I feel.
Yeah, I think one thing that's definitely growing is the new Apple Watches. I know I'm related back to Apple. The Apple Series 3. I know it can make phone calls, but to a certain distance. So I think that's definitely still growing. But yeah, so I think that's one good conceptual because it added the phone calling feature, but it's still limited, and still customers are complaining about how they can't play Pandora or Spotify without the phone being nearby. So I think eventually the watch will probably eventually become like a phone eventually and not have to rely on something else.
Kind of lacks basic features that like the iPhone's had for a while, and it's kind of like, come on, it's been 3 years now since the
Exactly.
Like, why do I have to be a foot away from my phone to make a call? Like,
exactly.
I definitely agree. That one's kind of weird. I've always seen the Apple Watches, and I think they're cool, but like at the distance you need to be by your phone, like I might as well just pull out my phone instead of like talking like this or whatever.
Yeah, you're like pretty much kissing your watch by the time you're talking on your phone.
Yeah, it
so.
looks a little weird. It looks a little weird.
Yeah. For sure.
Wait, what about like when they integrated, I don't know, Bluetooth into your car, so now you don't have to talk on your phone. You could just talk straight into the car and all that stuff. So they basically just merged two things for your convenience. Like
Yeah.
that could count as one too.
Yeah, I have the Tesla cars there, but there's so much in car tech that's changed, like cameras on cars. My mom has
Hmm.
a new Nissan. It's got a front and a back camera. And
Yeah.
I felt like having a front camera would help you park. When you're parallel parking, it's like the greatest thing in the world. It's
Yeah.
so,
Oh,
like,
for sure.
you don't think about that kind of stuff. Like, the car I drive normally does not have cameras, but like I miss it now, you know? Like, you can back up without having to like look over your shoulder. Like,
Oh yeah.
car,
I agree.
everything. That really improved in the last couple of years.
Yes, we're like reaching the half-hour mark. Should we transition to like the next assignments? Like maybe-
Yeah. So
Okay, so what really quick,
yeah.
so integration, transfer, conceptual, blending, what do they all have in common? Is that they all basically rely on each other. They're basically the same thing. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, I would say conceptual blending is basically integration and transfer together.
Hmm.
But I mean, they're all almost like variations of the same term. Like you're integrating things, you're blending the concepts between two things together, or you're transferring part of one concept to another. So I would say like they're almost the exact same definition. You could get technical and be like, no, like conceptual blending is a little bit different, but at their core, they're very similar. Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we kind of have covered the first two questions, and now we kind of are on the third one. The third one's more like, what did our group do well or bad? So let's hop on to Thursday's assignment and let's look through that reading real quick. That was teaching for transfer.
I'll be honest with you. I did not like this article. It
Yeah.
just kept going on and on and on, and I
a
just
little
lost.
repetitive, yeah.
I had to power read it. I read I tried my hardest to stay focused, but I read like 3 pages in, and then I started losing interest. So then I just started like quick reading.
Yeah.
It doesn't help like the
enjoyed
scan
it.
quality is pretty low too. Like,
Hmm?
like the quality of the scan is not good either. But
Oh, I know. It's like at an angle and it's weird. I don't like it.
Definitely like scanned onto a computer, like onto a printer.
Yeah. So I think it was a book from like 1988,
yeah,
September
that's what it said.
1998,
September
something like that.
1988.
Yeah, when they reference to like a retard, I'm like, this is this.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny when they like were trying to like they were like trying to teach like transfer like type of like skills to like mentally retarded people, and like they just straight out call them retards. I was like, this is an old. You
Yeah.
can tell by like the oxidation in the paper. You're just like, this is an old freaking paper.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, they're talking about VHS tapes at one point.
Yeah.
So
It was probably like new technology at the time. Yeah, we got these VHSs, you know.
yeah, applying there's probably some creative thinking right there. You know, transferring tape to film to tape. Like
Yeah,
that was pretty wild back then.
I know, right? They're probably still using like reels to pull up like newspapers and stuff like that.
Professor's just manually cranking like a projector.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on one second. So, so we're hitting this 30-minute mark. So I'm going to pause this recording real quick. Wait, the meeting now has unlimited minutes. What?